since then, Ethan, is Keldon Johnson getting an $80 million extension with the San Antonio Spurs. Just what's your reaction to that? I know it's a little bit of old news at this point, but it's the
Mhm.
first time since we've talked. So what were your kind of thoughts on that when you heard that?
I'm very happy with it. I mean, it's not an outrageous deal. It's a very generous offer that he was able to accept. And for a guy his age, for the guy with his kind of potential, I think we got him at a bargain, especially for 4 years. I mean, he is the future of this team, at least for now, until further notice. And we, obviously are big Keldon fans. I know some guys are out there are a little skeptical of his ceiling. They don't believe that he can rise to that all-star level player, but we happen to believe that that is the case for Keldon Johnson. So I'm just happy to have a guy on the roster that is guaranteed for 4 more years, at least, unless he demands a trade. But we're not going to talk about that. That we can count on, especially since our roster at this point is pretty subpar, Jude.
Yeah, it kind of scares me. I'm gonna be honest, because it gives me Dejounte vibes. Like it just makes me feel like it's the same contract, and in three
It's
years
very
we're just gonna
close to
trade
it.
him for 3 first-round picks. But I'm gonna hope that that's not gonna happen.
Knock on wood.
Ideally, the timeline that we're on, you pick him and you give him that contract to kind of build around him. But I don't know. If we're in the play-in 3 years, we might be right back to square one, Ethan. That's the only thing that concerns me about this.
Yeah.
But I like how we're paying him, like we're paying him the most this year. Like I
Mhm.
think that I like how it's kind of a little bit front loaded. That was different than Dejounte and Derek's contracts. And most contracts in the NBA, obviously the Spurs are the Spurs, but most contracts in the NBA they increase each year. So
Mhm.
for him to take a bargain deal like this, where in the later years of his contract, we actually save about 3.5 or 5 million bucks. That could be the difference between signing a key role player, to get you into the playoffs, than not, 3 or 4 years from now. So I like that aspect of it. Obviously, like you mentioned, we believe Keldon has all-star potential. Draymond believes he's got all-star potential, and we know that he's the king of Twitter right now. I don't know if you've been seeing all of
I
his
have.
tweets about the old school stuff. So hopefully we can get. There's been some Draymond comparisons to Keldon. Obviously, we know he is much more of a better perimeter player than Draymond, but when it comes to his attitude, we hope that he just gets all the best aspects of it and not not the craziness that Draymond brings, but definitely has all-star potential. If he can continue to be a 40% three-point shooter, like all he has to do is just clean up the rest of his game because he has all the talent. It's just, still sometimes when he's driving to the basket, he's just like a barrel roll and he's not,
Mhm.
So as soon as we get a little bit more finesse for Keldon, he's just going to be something that's super hard to stop with his big body.
Especially if we put him at the three, which is his better position than the four, it'd be like he was batting with a weight for the past 3 years, having a guard guys 6'10" and strong and long, and all of a sudden he's getting guarded by guys that are his size, Jude. Maybe he will just explode if that is the case.
Now that you mention that, all I can think of is the other day I was on Twitter and I haven't, in all honesty, I haven't watched a lot of anime since high school, just
Mhm.
keeping it 100. But
Yeah.
I watched all 720 episodes of Naruto in high school, okay?
Wow.
And the other day on Twitter, I saw the scene where Rock Lee is facing Gaara in the tuning exams and he takes off the weights off his legs. That's going to be playing the three.
I don't know Naruto, but I do know Dragon Ball Z, and there is something very similar in that when Goku
Okay.
goes to King Kai's planet with more gravity, so he can get used to training in different gravities.
Well, I'll give you some context. I know some of our listeners may know, but basically, Rock Lee, he's like this ninja that doesn't have any powers, and so he trains with like these like 1,000-pound weights or whatever,
Mhm.
like, and he's been kicking and training like with them on for his entire life, and then for this battle to like become, I think, like I don't even remember what the Chunin exams is, what you do if you win it, but
Mm.
anyways, he takes him off, and he's just like the fastest person you've ever seen. So
Shout out to Rock Lee.
yeah. I don't know if Keldon will be that fast, but the point is he's going to be unleashed.
If we
Ideally.
play him at the three,
Yeah,
please
I
God.
just I and I'm saying this, Ethan, and we already said this last episode, but I don't care because it's like if he's unleashed and just goes for 25, man, it's not going to happen. But if he gets close to 20 points and we have close to 40 wins, I'm just gonna be thoroughly frustrated. I don't think that that's gonna happen though. We had 33 last year, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. We're
Okay.
not gonna get
There
to
there there
33.
ain't no way. There ain't no way. Yeah.
No.
That's good. Cause Lord. But
Yeah.
anyways, hopefully he can have a good year. The only thing is you just don't want it. I don't know. We're probably going to get another empty stats thing, but maybe we can get a cool all-star appearance out of it like we got with DeJounte this year.
I could see that. Fingers crossed.
Maybe.
Knocking on wood.
I don't
I
yeah,
mean,
we'll probably
this,
need some help
the
like we did
problem is
with
the West is
DeJounte.
so loaded, especially at
Yeah.
Keldon's position, that even if he were to average like 25 and 10, like the odds of him getting to the
Brandon
All
Ingram
Star
might
game,
still get it. Yeah.
exactly. There's just
Yeah. That's a really good point. So 20 million for Keldon to just score this year with nobody. Um, yeah, I don't really have any more thoughts on the contract. I mean, I'm just glad that we have him locked up. When
yeah.
I saw this after the DeJounte thing, it made my heart a little bit more healed. But,
hmm
it's still not gone completely.
I like the contract, dude, because we're not going to be competitive getting into the playoffs probably until the third or even last year of his contract, and then we can just reevaluate where he is. Was he worth that 20 million? Yes or no, and then figure out where to go from there.
And with the money getting lower, that'll make him more
hmm
movable too.
Exactly.
So that's a really good point.